Alright, I'm finally having time to get around to showing you my ghetto, not ghetto, cheap man's heat shrink. Now unfortunately right now, my machine stole all my holders for this job, but I'll talk about this bullshit maybe when this is done, that'll be done, so. Kind of see what you got going on, and really not too freaking hard to build, and I'll try to take some snaps and put pictures in the description, or fuck it, flash it in your face right now of all the shit that I bought and how much it costs and whatnot. But yeah, so this is confusing as shit. I don't know if this is more non-confusing, but all you pretty much got is you got these big ass power supply. You can see down in here this little cylindrical motherfucker, or rectangular one that goes back down that way. You feed it with 220, I think like 30, I can't remember. It pumps out like 3 or 4 kilowatts, so a decent amount of amperage. You feed it just on into the back here, going straight to the power supply. I have it no switch, so anytime it's plugged in, it's running. I just like that, safer, just unplug that shit when I'm not using it. Power goes into the big ass power supply. I'm also bridging some over into a 110 little power supply that you can kind of see up in there. I just threw there because that powers this 12 volt rail, which powers these fans, this pump, the radiator fan, and this little solenoid and shit. So you need this little volts, and I know this is sloppy, but 12 volts come in and it goes to all the little shit and things that it needs to, like the temp display. So, okay, the big ass circuit, it's got its power, just 48 volts, 50 volts is actually a little higher on the side, but it pumps out something like, I can't remember, math is hard, was it 30 amps? That would make sense for 3 kilowatts. I think it's slightly overrated, surprisingly. I think it's like 33 or so amps, maybe it's 18, whatever. Lots of juices and pixies go flowing through here. I have a manual switch right here set on the side. It came with it, just a little breaker that can handle this kind of DC switching. Just as a safety, so I cannot forget to turn it on. And then it also, the positive side goes through a large relay. It can handle 500 amps, so it's definitely overkill for this little biatch. And then I also have 12 volts going to this little power board. You can see there. It just means when I hit the go button, I have this little timer circuit so I can bloop, kind of count down. That's mostly a safety thing for me. I didn't want the thing to be able to stay on if I accidentally turned it on, walked away, and got distracted, because fuck, I do get distracted easily. So that's about the electrical bits and whatnot. I mean, like I said, it's here. You just got to route the 12 volts to everything. The temp sensor just takes 12 volts. You can see up yonder, and it just feeds a wire down to like a K-type sensor that I just kind of drilled and threaded into some fittings I had laying around. Oh yeah, water loop. All fucking components I just got from eBay or had laying around. The only thing that's stupid is this pump that comes with the kit that I'll show you. This shit pops off, and like it's starting to want to pop off now. Too goddamn often. I've spilt this water out like 3 times now. So I have another little pump that has an NPT threading fitting that's around the same volume and duty. I don't want to have too big of a pump because I'm already kind of taxing this 3 amp power supply at about 2 to 2.5 amps. Oh yeah, water loop. So all I got going here is water goes through this hollow coil tube straight into a radiator to cool that shit down, and loops down into a tank, and then it gets sucked up into a temp sensor to the pump to this little circuit. It's really not too complicated, and I just it's really like all the bits and pieces I think cost like $250, or I mean, correct me, I'll maybe put what it actually costs when I actually look it up. And then you just like you can cobble it together whatever kind of case you can. I'll try making another video about the actual tool holders themselves. I only got one out that's not in the machine, so I can show you, but there's a huge difference in low cost shrink fit tool holders I found from the one of those number of people I've gone through. So let's go find a tool. All right, yeah, so I got myself a 5/16 guy, El No Fito, so just throw that in there. Sometimes I gotta build a little bit better up-down jig or something, maybe like a little button to do this a little less ghetto, but right now it freaking works. So I gotta set for 30 seconds, flip this little guy on, bam. And you know it's working when that blue light's on, which just kind of reminds me if I had that switch on or not. So I'd say here, let it get all nice and toasty. Oh yeah, But these little, whatever the fuck you call that, off-C clips, so nice. So that you put it in there, it stays at whatever gauge height you want until, you know, you're ready to do. Is it warm enough? It is. Set that in, shut it down. And we good. I normally just let it air dry for about 15 minutes, or sometimes when I'm really desperate, I don't know if you're supposed to, I just dunk it off with some water real quick. I've seen professional systems do that, so I feel like it must be kind of okay, as long as you can induce the heat quick enough that it's only mainly in the outside core, not all the way down to the core of the thing. Which I think this is doing all right, because shit down here, and I don't want to touch this because this is a little warm, but if I were to pop this down, the bottom of the Cat 40 holder is usually not even warm, so Q. Well, that's how she works. Like I said, you could do this better ghetto. I just had this material. Really, you can encase it in a freaking ammo case if you had one, and then just carry that shit around. Just make sure it's grounded, right? All right, thanks for watching.